Hello, this is David Taylor at Web Design Academy, and in this video I want to talk about what you need to do if you want to start a business in web design. So first and foremost, you're going to have to learn how to build pro quality websites for businesses or community organizations or educational institutions and so on. And you're going to have to put a portfolio together, because until you have those two elements, you really can't go out to the market with any validity or authority and sell your skills as a web designer. So the place that I would recommend that you start is here at WordPress.org. I believe that WordPress is the best platform to build websites on for a number of reasons. First of all, the WordPress files themselves are free, they're open source, and if you go to WordPress.org, you can go to this blue button in the top right and download the WordPress files. And once you've got those, you've got all the essential components for building a website. Now, it's not quite as simple as just downloading the files and starting to build a website, but that is where I recommend that you start, at WordPress.org. Now, the second thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get some reselling, some space as a reseller on with a hosting company. And I recommend you have a look at this company, PickAWeb. And what you want to do is to go to the reseller hosting tab here and pick one of their plans. And you can see that the entry level reseller plan is a very affordable $9.99 a month, and you can see what you get for that. You get 50 gig of web space on their servers, 500 gig of bandwidth across your websites, and what this means is that you can build multiple websites on this account using WordPress, and you pay $9.99 a month for hosting those websites. So pretty cost effective. Now, the next thing that you need to do is, once you've got your reseller account with PickAWeb, or there are many other companies that you can choose, entirely up to you. Once you've got your reseller account, you're in a position then to create a WordPress installation. So that means actually take the files that you downloaded from WordPress and put them onto your reseller account. Now, a WordPress installation is not an easy or straightforward thing to do. You'll find resources online and on YouTube, for example, but to be honest, when I learned it, I had to get somebody who had done it to show me how it works and how to do it, and I found that by far the easiest way to pick it up, because it does involve creating, for example, a MySQL database, which is a bit confusing, and there are other elements to installing a WordPress installation that are not particularly straightforward. So that is a hurdle, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. In terms of how to do it, we cover that in our weekend courses here at Web Design Academy. So that's one option if you want to learn that particular skill, along with many others to do with starting a web design company. So far we've got our WordPress files, we've got our reseller accounts, and we've created a WordPress installation on our reseller account. And now you're in a position to start building your first website. And here again, you'll find a lot of resources online about building WordPress websites. WordPress actually comes with three basic design themes. And they are very easy to use. In fact, if I go to WordPress.org and click on themes, we can have a quick look at them. So here we are. Here are some basic WordPress themes that you can apply to your WordPress installation. They're not terribly exciting, but they're fine and they're excellent as a place to start learning. Let's click on popular. So WordPress actually comes with these three at the top: 2017, 2016, 2015. Let's have a look at 2017 as a theme. Gives you some information. Let's have a preview on this button here. So we've got a nice big statement image with a text overlay, and then we scroll down, we've got what looks like a vertical column of blog posts on the left hand side and a sidebar on the right hand side with navigation menu. All good stuff, all essential components of building a competent website. So I would certainly recommend that you start off, once you've done your WordPress installation, by choosing one of the design themes that that comes with your WordPress files, like 2017, and learning the basics of how to design a website using that particular theme before we move on to something more complicated. So where are we now? Okay, so we've got our WordPress files, we've got our reseller account, we've made a WordPress installation, and we've started learning the skills involved in creating a WordPress website. Now, there's no shortcut for this. You are going to have to build a portfolio of work, because you're not going to be able to convince a client or a business that you are capable of building them a professional standard website unless you have a website of your own which includes a portfolio of work. So this is probably the biggest single thing that you need to do if you're starting a web design business, and that is create your own website. Now, the first thing that occurs to me in creating your own website is that you're going to have to create a brand for your own business. So you're going to need a name for your business. It could be David Taylor Web Design or whatever your equivalent is, if you want to be that simple. But once you've thought about the name for your business, the first thing that you need to do is to go to the likes of PickerWeb, as I just showed you. You can see that they do registered domain names. There are other companies like FastHosts and GoDaddy and many others. Something that's worth you knowing is that you don't have to have your domain names and your websites in the same place. I don't, for example. I have all my domain names registered with one provider, and I have my websites actually hosted with a different provider. So all you have to do is to link the domain names and the websites together. Works perfectly fine. There are historical reasons why I didn't want them in the same place. So to come back to the point though, once you've decided on a name for your business and a brand name, you need to see if that brand name is available as a domain name. So let me just show you. Sorry, that's not the right one. I'm just loading fasthosts.co.uk here, and what you can do is you can put into this white box David Taylor Web Design.co.uk and then click check, and you can see if this particular domain name is available. Now .co.uk domain names are the cheapest option. .coms are more expensive, and then as you can see there's a whole host of others. I tend to stick to either .co.uk's or .coms. I have used other extensions, one or two other extensions in the past, but generally speaking I stick to those two. So as you can see, in this case, davidtaylorwebdesign.co.uk is available for $2.99 for 1 year, and I could go through and pay for that, and then I would own that domain name, and I can then link this domain name to a website that I'm building over here at PickerWeb, and for my own business. So I'm starting to build my own business website, perhaps using this design theme 2017, and I'm going to link the installation that I've made, the WordPress installation I've made at PickerWeb. I'm going to link it to my domain name once it's ready to go live, of course. Until then, it will just remain on your reseller account here at PickerWeb under a development URL while you're working on it. So what you have now is you have a brand name for your business, you've registered a domain, so that's secure, and you are in a position to link that domain to your WordPress installation. What you need to do now is actually create a WordPress website for your own business. And probably the best way to go about this is to go and look at other web designers, web design companies, and see how they present themselves, particularly on their homepage first. What information they put on there, what messages they put on there, what images they put on there, how they present themselves to their audience, because they will have spent a lot of time and probably have a lot of experience of what works in terms of the messages that they put out on their homepage. So there's no disgrace in copying, not verbatim, but copying in general terms the design and features of another web design company in order to construct your own homepage, and that's where I think you should start. Don't worry about any other pages on your own website at this stage. Just think about your own homepage and how you want to make that look. Once you've created your own homepage, then you're going to have to start thinking about creating a portfolio of work, and this is going to be time consuming. I would say the minimum that you could get away with is 4 examples of work. What you could do is just create the home pages for four websites, and you want to show diversity. You want to show that you can design across different industries and different sectors. So again, it's a case of going and looking at good examples of web design work. There's loads of resources online, good examples of design work across different sectors and so on. You only have to look on Pinterest. Again, on YouTube's a great resource, and you'll find loads of great web design examples, and you can use those as your template, as your guide, as your inspiration for designing 4 new WordPress website homepages for your own portfolio. Just going to pause the video 1 second. Okay, so we're at the position now that you've got your own website with your own branding and your own domain name. We've created, or you've created, 4 home pages as examples of the type of work that you can do. You may have created social media channels for yourself as well, as a means of promoting yourself and your work. But essentially you're now at the point where you are going to have to go out and sell your skills to a market audience, and this is bit of a critical point in the whole process. If you want to work as a web designer, you're going to have to acquire the skills necessary for getting leads, getting inquiries, and making sales of web design to commercial clients. And this is not going to be easy. There is an awful lot of competition out there in the web design business. I have actually done another video which you'll find on our website at Web Design Academy, which talks about how to generate leads. So you might want to go and have a look at that video, and it talks about some of the tactics that we use, that we found that works. You will find a lot of resources again online about how to generate leads as a web design company and how to generate sales generally. So there's some fantastic resources, free resources out there for you to do some homework. But essentially, you're going to have to convince businesses probably that you have the skills and that your work is of a sufficient quality and standard that they are prepared to part with money in order for you to design a website for their business. Now, the main thing to remember about this whole situation is that the client that you're working with, that they're not buying a website. You might think that they're buying a website, but they're not buying a website. What they're actually buying is a sales machine for their own business. They are buying your website in order to generate leads and sales for their own business. That's the only reason they're buying your website. It is a selling machine for their business. And if you keep that in the forefront of your mind whenever you're talking to new clients and whenever you're designing a website, then you will be on the right track. Because the business that we're in is not about creating art. It's not creating beautiful looking websites that people want to stand and look at in an art gallery. This is about creating a tool for another business that is going to generate sales for their business. And that is probably one of the most important lessons that we have learned over the last 10 years in making a successful web design company. So there we are. That's a brief introduction to starting a web design business. There is a lot more excuse me, a lot more to say than I can say in one video. But what I would invite you to do is to head over to our other videos and free resources at webdesignacademy.co.uk and take advantage of what we're offering there in free information and knowledge around this subject. You can also sign up for our weekend courses in Chester, in Cheshire, where we basically run you through a fast track of all these skills in terms of WordPress installations, web design, and creating sites. So have a look at that as well. I'm sure you'll be interested. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.